아.
준비됐으면 말씀해 주세요.
네, 지금 시작하셨죠? 네네. 네, 여러분들 반갑습니다. 저희가 지금 잠깐 다른 채널에다가 송출을 했는데요. 세 번째 연사분 다시 한번 소개해 드리도록 하겠습니다. 네, 이거 소리 좀 꺼주세요. 네. 네, 저희 세 번째 연사분 소개해 드릴 건데요. 바로 퓰리처상을 수상하신 뉴욕타임스 기자이자 라이브 저널리즘의 편집 차장님이십니다. 여러분들 혹시 습관의 힘, Power of Habit 이라는 책 들어보셨나요? 바로 그 저자분이시기도 한데요. 2년 동안 뉴욕타임즈 베스트셀러로도 활약하셨던 그분입니다. 만날 준비 되셨나요? 바로 Mr. Charles Duhigg 만나보도록 하겠습니다. Sir, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Let me get this. Did you?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Great.
All right, so again, we had this disconnection. So
That's totally fine.
before we begin our interview again, could you please say hi to our new
Absolutely.
fans?
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Korea is one of my favorite nations. Being in Seoul is such a huge treat for me. So thank you to everyone who's watching, and we'd love to hear your questions on Facebook Live.
Right. So we actually were talking about one of the questions that we got beforehand was the habit. So we were talking about the importance of habit.
Right.
And then what's the most important habit that we should have that you recommend?
So I think one of the most important habits, and this is something that in the new book that we talk about, is that the thing that seems to distinguish the most successful, most productive people from everyone else is that they build habits that force them to think a little bit more deeply about the choices that they're making. Right, so for some people this means that they, for instance, that they write letters. One of the habits of successful people is that they tend to write letters to friends. And those letters to friends aren't just to tell their friends about, sort of update them. It's because writing letters to friends forces us to think about our own life. It forces us to think about our own choices. It forces us to think about our goals and what our goals ought to be. Another way another one of the most successful habits of successful people is that they tend to do things like at the top of their to-do list, they write their biggest goal for the week and for the month. This is in the psychology literature. These are known as stretch goals. Because when you write the biggest goal for the week or the month on your to-do list, what it does is it forces you to think to yourself, what I am doing right now, is it the most important thing I could be doing? Am I returning emails because this helps me get closer to my big goal? Or am I returning emails simply because it feels productive, because it feels busy? Because oftentimes busy is the enemy of productive.
Right.
We can make ourselves feel busy all day long. But the question is, how do you build habits that force you to be productive instead of busy?
I see. So it's very good for us to have the organization skill and set priorities.
That's exactly right.
Big goal, small goal, and
then remind ourselves of our big goals, right? Come up with a system that forces us to think about our big goals. So that's why at the top of your to-do list, having your stretch goal, it forces you every time you look at your to-do list to ask yourself, am I doing the most important thing right now? Writing letters to your friends about what you learned that day forces you to say, what did I learn? How do I translate that? How do I transform that into something that's usable? Or even just, for instance, even looking for ways to transform tasks into choices. One of the things that we know is that the way to generate self-motivation, the way to feel like we're motivated, is to find choices that we can make, to feel in control. And the more that we look for those choices, the more we feel in control of ourselves, the more that we make decisions, we develop a habit of making decisions, the more we self-motivate to get the hard things done.
So I have one more question. A lot of people, they set goals and then they try to do it. But then we know we should do it, but it's really hard to actually do it.
That's
so
right.
Is this the problem of selecting wrong goals, or did we set the wrong goals, or is it too hard for us to actually achieve those goals?
Well, I think it differs from situation to situation, but I think in general what we know is that when people set goals, what they need to do, in addition to coming up with a big goal, they need to find goals that correspond to their values, that correspond to their ambitions, and then they need a system of breaking it into smaller pieces. So in the book, for instance, we talk about stretch goals and then SMART goals. And SMART goals is a system where you learn how to break a big ambition into smaller pieces by saying, what specifically do I want to get done? How will I measure it? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? Is there a timeline? It's SMART, so it spells smart in English. But it doesn't matter what system you use. What matters is that you have a system in place to take a big goal and make it into something that's immediate, something that's tangible, something you can do right away. And I think this entire nation is a testament to this, that if you dream a huge dream, you can make that dream come true if you know how to break it into pieces so that you know what to do tomorrow morning. Because coming up with a huge goal is the easy part. Figuring out what to do tomorrow morning at your desk, that's the harder part. But if you have a habit, a system of breaking that big goal into smaller components, then you know how to get started, then you know how to succeed.
Now everyone can succeed if they have those mysteries.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Everyone can succeed.
This was very funny question. Any advice to future Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter?
That my only advice would be that you know, if you find things about your job that you love, then it's easier to continue working. It feels very unpleasant to work hard when work is not something you enjoy. So if you find parts of your work that you enjoy, if you find parts of your work that you love, if you say to yourself, I'm doing this job, even though it's hard today, because I care so much about what it will create a year from now, a decade from now, it makes that work easier, and that's when we get the most important work done.
All right, sir, thank you. And I heard that you are having a book signing event right
That's
here,
right. That's right.
So this book is called Smarter, Faster, and Better. If you guys go online, they can buy it too.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Again, Mister,
Thank you so much. Thank
and
you.
I hope you have a great time at this
I
conference.
appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who's watching. Really appreciate it.
Again, Mr. Duhigg. Yep. Thank
Great.
you, sir. Sorry for the disconnect.
No. No worries. No worries whatsoever. Thank you. Thank you.
여러분들 아직 안 끝났네요. 네, 저희 여러분들 5번째 연사로 여러분들을 또 찾아뵙도록 하겠습니다. 여러분들 잠깐만 기다려주세요.